Thank you for tuning in to the Inquisitive Minds podcast. We're trying round 2 with this shit. I'm your host as usual. You see how I threw my demonetization? 3, 2, 1. Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Inquisitive Minds podcast. I'm your host as usual, Johnny Smith. My guest today, very special guy. They're all special if they come on this program. He is an artist and a producer from Pittsburgh. His musical range is all over the place. Please welcome to the program, Ty Danzuso.
Thanks, Johnny.
Did I mess it up again?
You did, but...
Give it to the people from the organic mouth.
Yeah, you're going to get it. It's Ty Danzuso, and thank you for having me, Johnny.
Ty Danzuso. I bring you in, and then I insult you by
not an insult
practicing
at all.
Your name 50 times and then screwing it up.
It's okay.
How are you doing today, brother?
I'm really good. It's a nice day outside. I'm just enjoying the Sunday. I love Sundays. Good day of the week.
Awesome answer. It is a Sunday. It's been a long week for me.
Yeah, busy.
I won't get into it because by the time this comes out, hopefully that week will be better.
Yeah.
But it's been a rough one. But you are a musician and a producer. Let's just get right into the beginning. Give me the genesis of Ty. Where'd you get started?
Okay, I got started kind of just doing stuff by myself musically. I started music, like learning instruments, like a while back when I was young. 3rd grade is when I picked up a guitar. I honestly, when people ask me the age, what age are you in 3rd grade? Do you know?
Maybe 8?
8, okay.
Somewhere in there?
Okay. Around 8 then, yeah. I started around 8 playing guitar. Did a couple lessons. Didn't really stick to the lessons. Didn't really care for it. One of my sister's boyfriends came over one time and was like, playing Jimi Hendrix, and I was like blown away. I'm like, how's he doing it? Like, I can't even play Twinkle Twinkle Had a Little Star. How's he playing Jimi Hendrix? He broke down this thing called tablature for me. It's like an easier, basically a cheat code way to read music. And my mind was blown, and I realized I could teach myself all these songs, and then I started doing that. From there, I played guitar for a while, but definitely didn't take music too serious. In high school, I got into more like literature and like writing poetry and stuff.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it was something I wanted to do for a while, and I was gonna go to Carlo for creative writing. Didn't really take high school too serious, so I didn't really have the grades to get in. Was lazy, didn't really want to go to community, so I didn't really follow through with that. But I think I can put it into what I do now in a cool way. So that's when a couple years back, like 3 years, 2019, when I really started doing music more serious.
You were about 22 at the time?
I'm 25. So I was like 22. Yes.
You know, I share a bit of an experience. I took the French horn because that's the same as the guitar.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Everybody out there listening. I took the French horn for a year, and then I took the trumpet for 2 or 3 years, and man, did it not stick. Like, it was just miserable.
Yeah. Learning an instrument is something like it's like forcing yourself to like make yourself like it, and that can be the hardest part sometimes.
Yeah, like I can read the basics of music, but as far as you handing me something crazy and saying play this, we're out of here.
Yeah.
Now, guitar, you said you put that down a little bit. What do you play other instruments?
I do. But other instruments came along like more like 3 years ago when I started taking things more serious. I got into keyboard, and I've been like 2 years into keyboard and bass guitar now. I just got a saxophone recently, and that is just such a hard instrument. I'm trying to learn it. But with all these other instruments, it can be tough to focus on one.
That's impressive, though, because that's 4 very distinct and different instruments.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you said you took the flute, the oboe, the clarinet. You know, you're taking 4 different things here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that comes along with, like, being an independent producer, trying to cover all those different dynamic ranges in the song and stuff, and just being able to create a whole idea by myself and not have to, like, rely on anyone else.
No, I love it. I'm all about independence here.
Yeah.
You know, I've mentioned it before, and I'll mention it again. People complain about cancel culture. You can't cancel someone who's independent.
No way.
You know, it's like, have fun with that.
Yeah, seriously.
No, I love the spirit of it, man.
Thank you.
So when you made the jump to take it more seriously, what was going on in your life? Was it just a passion for music, or were there things you said, well, I need to make a change in focus?
It was a little bit of both. It was definitely the passion for music, but yeah, I was definitely like depressed as hell, and just years of like feeling like I'm stuck. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want to do. I want to do music, but I don't know how to do it. Just those kind of questions and feeling stuck, but just pushing myself past that to just do it and just work really hard at it.
Remember the first song you created?
Yeah, I do. I remember like the first studio session I went to, like at like a nicer studio where like we actually finished the first song on my first EP on that one I gave you. It's called Escape. We made
By
that.
the way, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, check this out. It is a dope-ass cassette tape,
Thank you.
and it's gold. Like, the
Yes.
art's amazing. The tape,
Thank
this is creative. Because
Thank you so much.
I've never seen anyone else handing cassettes out that weren't,
Thank you.
because cassettes were around.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It's that's what I'm trying to do. Take the extra step to like make people realize that I do care about this and like I'm gonna put in that extra work. And I want a genuine connection between fans and just people in general. Like I don't want it to be distant or I don't know. It can get distorted. I feel through social media, everything. So I want the genuine connection. That helps.
Yeah. And no, definitely. We're recording this in advance, but social media, things get construed. I made a status. I laughed at a guy today for being called a Karen, and then he hopped in my inbox and went on Karen. So
That's funny how that works.
So it's like,
Yeah.
you're like, it's absurd. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna give that person any shout
Right,
out, but
right.
fuck him.
He's proving your point essentially.
I
by
laughed
doing
at
that.
this, and then I went
Yeah.
back, and because after someone gets in your inbox, you go back and you look at the previous stuff, like, oh, well, let's see if he recommented on this stuff, and he did,
Yeah.
and it's hilarious to me
Oh.
because the consensus from anybody, and if you're listening, you know who you are, but the consensus from everybody you commented with this status is, shut the fuck up and go somewhere, kid. And when everybody's saying that,
Yeah.
it's not just you. I mean, it's obviously your problem.
Yeah.
If everyone else is saying, I digress. Get off my soapbox.
No,
here.
I think that was a good way to lead into that because, like you said, with social media, things get misconstrued. So I'm trying to keep it real life as much as possible. Back when I did first start off in music, I was like obsessed with like putting out great content, putting out the best posts, and getting all the likes and what's going to do well, what's a good time to do well. And that stuff is important, especially if you're trying to be an independent creative. Like, I know that all matters, but if you don't put the art first, none of that matters. You know what I mean? Like,
I like the way you put that, man. That everything I talk about, I relate to comedy just because that's what I know. That's what I'm doing. And it's the same way. These people want to be famous or they want to be out, all over everywhere, but without putting in the actual work.
yeah.
There's not a lot of mics right now, but there's a ton of people that think they're amazing comedians in the city that are still very young comedians that don't go out, don't work on their stuff, don't go to mics. I'm not here to judge it. If it works for you, it works, but don't also complain to me on why this hasn't happened or why this hasn't happened.
Totally.
It's easy to use excuses.
Yeah, it is. And along with that, it's like, what do you want to accomplish and what do you want to, like, what are your goals in your field? You know what I mean? Like, I did think about it at first, but it's like I really didn't think about it because once I started doing stuff and realized I wasn't going to be this instant star or take off or whatever, that stuff sinks in and you realize, like, the Jeff's always talking about this on Babyface, like the success, like small successes and stuff, like those small wins and stuff. And
It's a good time. Shout out to Jeff Fieldhouse,
definitely, yeah,
host of the Babyface Assassin podcast. I've been on that as well. He also does a monthly show with you. You co-produce up at the Mount Troy Inn every month. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yes, the All Art Show, which you were just at, which thank you for performing.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome set, as always. We do comedy, music, and art all mashed together. We usually do like 3 to 4 comedians starting the night off and then take a little break. We're going to start having more music acts. The most recent show, we just had 1, but we're going to start trying to do 2 to 3. And then we have like a live artist paint the whole show. So it's like a nice collaboration.
I don't think you're giving enough credit, man, because that place, it's so dope. Like the artist, not this recent time, but the last time I was there, there was an artist painting in the back, and she did this crazy like mushroom drawing. But
Megan, that was a good one.
I was able to watch from like the beginning to the end, and because you start watching, what the hell is this thing?
Right, yeah.
And then like just the atmosphere is so welcoming. It's so cool. It's a nice bar, but there's a little performance area. I would definitely recommend anybody who want to get a good night out, check out the Mount Troy Inn for the All Art Show.
Yeah, it is a good like it always makes me feel good after one of those nights. Like it's always like a natural high feeling where I'm like, damn, like that was just genuine connection with other people, and that's cool. Like
It's
I
rare
love
you
that.
do a bar show where people are actually there for the comedy. And it seems like the crowd that shows up for the all art show, they come in, they sit down, they want to watch, they want to laugh, they want to enjoy the music. It's a nice experience.
Agreed. We've had some great crowds, definitely.
Absolutely. Also, good food,
Thank
good
you.
place at the bar.
Thank you, Johnny.
Definitely check that out. Also, check out Jeff Fieldhouse.
Definitely.
Dope dude.
We love Jeff.
How did you start working with Jeff?
Jeff, I've known since high school. He's someone that like has always kept me creative as well because he's in his comedy, and like I started doing like skit videos with him in high school, which was really fun for me because like I'm obviously not that into comedy, but I love it and into doing it. I love it and I admire it from afar. But that was fun for me to just mess around with, and
It's like less pressure.
yeah, it's so much less pressure
Because you're doing something fun, and it's not for like your specific medium.
right.
You
It's
know,
like it doesn't matter if anyone likes it or not.
Yeah,
'cause it's
yeah,
just for
yeah.
fun, literally, and that is the best way to do anything. Definitely.
that is all this podcast is. Like, this is my passion project. I love talking to interesting people. That's what I'm going to do.
I like that. That feels very, like we said, like natural and organic. And then
Yeah, like if
That's
it
cool.
grows bigger, it grows bigger. If not,
love-
this is so much fun for me.
I love that, man. It's like that stuff doesn't even matter, and
Yeah.
like just our conversation right now is the only thing that does.
That is the God's truth, man. I don't care about, people will listen or they won't listen, but I'm enjoying this.
Yeah,
And I
agreed.
get to learn about you.
Same, likewise.
Now, you said you and Jeff were close since high school.
Yes.
Did that art show immediately how long has the art show been running, I guess?
The art show is somewhat new. That's been around as long as like I've been doing music seriously, like 3 years. Because like
Okay.
we kind of started that when I was like figuring my shit out and was like, oh, we could mix our worlds a little bit and create, like a whatever you want to call it.
It's a hybrid show. It's
yeah,
entertainment.
Yeah, hybrid show. Yeah, exactly.
It's a show that appeals to more than just one geographic, dynamic, whatever the hell
audience. Yeah,
the word is.
whatever you
Yeah.
call a bunch.
Demographic.
Yeah, that
Demographic.
Yes, that is the one.
So, man, you start playing 2 years ago, or you start making music 2-3 years ago.
Mhm.
You sing your stuff?
I do. Yeah, I don't consider myself like I'm not trained or like don't even practice singing as much as I should because I play so many instruments and I do get caught up like trying to master instruments sometimes. But I do sing everything, and everyone uses Autotune. I use slight Autotune. People,
Okay.
yeah, most people. Programs now. They all have things called like Waves Tune and Flex Pitch. Like these things, they tune vocals like in real time. And
Todd, do we have anything like that here?
No. I mean, we could, but
Yeah.
it would be a process.
That's fair.
yeah, some programs have them built in. I don't know if all do. But
When you pulled the mic over, I watched your hand and I got so excited. I was like, he's about to speak in Autotune.
yeah.
I always used to mess with my wife and tell her I wanted a T-Pain microphone.
Oh my god.
Just because I feel like Autotune could make anything sound better.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. No, that kind of autotune I really don't even mess with. But like when it comes to like singing a note flat or just some minor thing, you can just correct that real simple on a computer now. So
Oh, really?
yeah, you
See,
don't.
I don't know nothing about
Yeah, you don't
this.
have to do another take. You could just correct it. So like I use the tools that everyone uses, but
Yeah. Don't feel bad about
I
using
don't-
what's
yeah,
out
I
there.
really
Like,
don't. I just like to be honest about it. That's all. So yeah, I use all those tools, and I sing. I sing all my stuff, and I never was really like super passionate about singing, but like I really love songwriting,
Mhm.
and I've jammed and worked with people in the past that have been like, if you want to write songs for me, like I'll sing them or I'll rap them or whatever, and that just felt weird to me. Like I never wanted to be like the ghostwriter or write songs for anybody else.
Do you rap?
Yeah, I do rap. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have like some rap verses on that tape. Music I make now, it's rare when I don't even make music you could really hear rap on. It's very like synth electronic, like almost 80s retro, really retro sounding now. But I mean, yeah, I used to do like rap, and I've rapped on songs with people and stuff. And
Were you a writer or a freestyler?
I'm a writer big time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you for an example, for a snippet.
I could like recall a verse. Or
Yeah, give me a verse if you got one.
just a cappella.
Give me some bars.
Okay, I'll do a verse I did on This is my friend Layla Rhodes' song that she just put out on her most recent album that she worked on in my studio. So it just goes like this. It's going to be weird, acapella, whatever. I'm stuck in the east, but my head I'm in a beach, taking hits from the bong. You're the chong to my cheech, sun is shining down. There's a smile on my cheeks going. Play the beat, I'll be dancing like a freak. Waves crash into me, setting me free. I open my eyes, and then I see bright blue skies and tall green trees. The sun shines bright, and it's all I need. Just a little
That's
stuff
not bad.
Thanks,
I'll be
man.
honest with you. There has been much weirder moments on this podcast, I assure you.
Yeah, that's always a weird thing like to do. Just
Oh, no,
music
it
and
definitely is.
stuff.
I give you props for
Thanks.
just spitting it up there, because as you were doing it, I realized that's the equivalent of someone going, tell me a joke.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Yeah.
my
it's like
apologies on that
command.
behalf.
No, not at all. It's fun to try to remember things you wrote, like full verses like that.
So your music now is more, you said, electronic synth type stuff.
Yeah.
But you've evolved. How did
Definitely.
you start out from?
I was more like just simple like chords because I wasn't that musically skilled yet. So it was like the beats were more simple. Like there wasn't as much going on. That tape there has a lot of like electric pianos and guitars and just different sounds on it as to what I'm doing now. It's hard to explain, but like I said, there's not as... If I do put vocals on a song now, it's like doing some weird experimental singing type stuff. So like,
I'll be
it's
honest,
different.
I don't know much about making music.
Yeah.
So look at me like a complete idiot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you
I can do
explain the process from no song to ready to be released?
Definitely. Yes. It can be long, it can be short, depending on like the flow of the song sort of. So typically when I make a song, I just start with an instrument, and if I find like something I like on the instrument that sounds cool, I'm like, oh, I could build a whole song around this. Like I try to imagine every piece, lay down my favorite part, sound, whatever it is that I really like, and then yeah, I'll record that, and then I'll just mess around on different instruments till I have something I like. Once I have something I like, I usually make the music first, and if I want to add lyrics, vocals, I'll start writing to it. It's just easier that way for me. Record that. Take that recording to like an engineer. I mean, you can do all...
Let me pause you
Yeah,
for a
for
minute.
sure.
When you're recording this music, how do you record an instrument?
I have... I'm sure you have this big mixer thing here, like like a smaller version of that,
Okay.
essentially, like a little interface.
And is it each instrument individually?
Yeah, I have an interface where I have everything like sectioned off individually. Like I have all my keyboards and guitars plugged in at the same time because I found that little time of plugging stuff in makes all the difference sometimes when you're running with an idea. So that helps. So once you have the idea and everything that you like, I mean, like I said, you can do this next step on your own, mix and master a song, but that's a whole nother art in itself. Like that's a whole nother world.
Explain
a
to
whole
me what
world.
that actually means, because you hear that stuff. I hear it,
Mhm.
but I don't know,
Yeah.
like mix and master.
That is like the final touches, all the audio, like the people that go to like audio school, like
Mhm.
that's what they go for. Some obviously, some go do different stuff, but like that's what majority of the time they go for, to like just do that. Like they'll take that finished idea that I give them, they'll listen to every piece, and they'll enhance it by just like being a fresh set of ears is very important in music. Just having someone new come in and hear things that you didn't makes like an insane difference. I've realized that over the years. It really helps. But yeah, mixing and mastering, I'm trying to think the best way to like describe that process, because like I said, I don't professionally do it. I've mixed stuff for friends, and like I'm starting to teach myself how to do that kind of stuff. But like I said, it's a whole world. It's like you dive in it. It's like music production. Like it's a whole world, and there's all these instruments, there's all these chords, there's all these sounds that you can play from. But like it's the same way with mixing and mastering. There's all these plugins, there's all these... That's really it nowadays, because nothing's really like what's the word I'm looking for, analog anymore.
Have we
you know
gotten?
what I mean?
Has everything gotten smaller then?
Yeah,
in the studio?
like majority of the time, like Billie Eilish, the biggest musician in the world, she makes her song just on a computer like everyone else, like on a Mac. So yeah, definitely.
Well, good on her.
Yeah, but it's funny because like people are chasing that old sound still. Like all these plugins that we use on the computer, they emulate like old tape machines. And all.
I
It's
get
funny.
that. I understand like the allure of like nostalgia.
Hmm.
But couldn't you just use the old stuff to like make those sounds?
Definitely, and I think that's how you're really gonna get that sound. Like, there's no other way to replicate like that genuine hardware of like old tape machines and whatever they're recording on back in the day. But it's just like the accessibility and like how hard it is to get those old machines in your setup. People don't want to deal with it. I'm lazy. I don't want to deal with it. Yeah,
I get it.
yeah,
I get it.
But yeah, that's the main reason why you take those shortcuts and use those programs and stuff.
Now, I was reading the intro you sent me. You said you created a studio at your house now.
Yes, I like real early pandemic. I started just I was doing nothing but working at my dad's bar when we were open, but like it was just takeout only for a while. So I was saving money working there, and finally just started buying everything I needed like for the home studio, the whole setup. I had a bunch of like those plugins and programs to use from a buddy I worked with at ID Labs who gave me some. So I had like a good starting point. Then I still lack some of the knowledge when it comes to mixing and mastering, like I was saying, but I'm confident now where for $25 an hour, someone can come in, use any of my instruments, use me as an engineer or producer if they want. If they want, I'll leave the room, whatever.
Right on.
And they can just go nuts. But yeah, I just think for $25 an hour, it's a good deal because personally, I've experienced going around to a few studios in Pittsburgh.
What do music studios run?
I've paid the highest I paid $65 an hour.
Okay.
So like in paying that, it's hard to like even fully focus on the creativity when you're paying that much an hour. Like especially if your ideas aren't fleshed out. Majority of the time, people making music now don't do everything like me. So they want someone to make a song for them. They want them to make the beat. So if they came into my studio and don't really have any idea what they want the song or beat to sound like, it's going to take a while to flesh that idea out from scratch. So I don't want them to feel rushed. I don't want them to feel like, oh, geez, like I'm running out of time and I'm wasting my money. I'm getting nothing out of this. So I wanted to start at a lower price for people.
I dig what you're saying. Just quick tip to those people out there, like if you feel like, I could be wasting my money, that's not on time. That's on you to be more prepared a little bit.
Right.
Like at some point,
Definitely.
you gotta have them like, hey, be ready to do something.
For sure, yeah. And I think the only reason I don't absolutely fall into that mindset is because like my first sessions in a real studio, I was guilty of like thinking I knew what I was doing, but then getting there and realizing that I didn't, and then...
That's a great point. Obviously, I record here at Idiot Radio with Todd as my producer, but some episodes I record at home just for scheduling and things of that nature. Todd has a life. I have a life. Some people are like, hey, can we get an interview in right now? I'm like, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
But learning from the beginning of quarantine, because that's really why I started, to what I can do now, it's not much more, but it's leaps and bounds. Like, there was one episode I did with Jared Helfer, and whatever you think of the content of that episode is irrelevant, but we recorded that episode 4 or 5 fucking times. And the first episode we recorded was 3 hours long. I think the final cut got down to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But over like 2 weeks, we recorded hours and hours. And after you hear it the first time, because it was on a specific topic.
Yeah.
The second time gets old. The third time. By the last episode, I wanted to say, look, fuck this guy. Fuck this whole episode. Throw it in the trash,
Just sick of it, yeah.
But it's a growing process, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's like you're always learning something in whatever world you're in.
I couldn't even get a microphone I had to record from the computer initially. My first episodes, because even before that, I would record episodes remotely with Todd, and I couldn't even use my computer. I'd have to do it on my phone because either my internet connection or I couldn't get the mic hooked up. It was a shit show.
Yeah, those little things, people do not even think about them when we put out art or any type of content or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've had so many moments where I'll just stop making music because I can't get something like there's latency and it's like coming in behind and I can't get rid of it, so I'll just freak out and be like, I'm done for the day and come back later and that little shit.
Now, you and Jeff work on the Mount Troy Inn together. Do your influences ever bleed over with each other? Does he ask you about a joke, or do you ask him about a beat or something?
Definitely. I've shown him majority of my music before it's all come out. Lately, I don't really show anyone anything. Not intentionally. It's just I don't go out much, and I've just been working on it a lot. And if someone's over, I show them, but it's just I don't go out of my way to show people what I'm working on. But Jeff's heard some stuff, and he's definitely asked me about jokes and showed me jokes beforehand, and I love to help in any way I can and be just a listener if that's what he needs, you know.
Okay, that's cool. Now, I see a lot in your imagery in your stickers, your T-shirts,
Yep.
a lot of mushrooms. What's your brand? Tell us about your brand a little bit.
Yeah, I think the music kind of, like you said, I make all kind of different types of music, but it definitely has like a psychedelic feel to it sometimes. I made some of this Dream Garden microdosing some LSD, so like I do use that kind of stuff. To me, it's therapeutic. I don't know. Some people,
nothing wrong with that. I've been open about that on here.
yeah, I just don't want to like
off the air. I think
across.
one episode, I was over here sitting. The guest was there. Todd was there, and at one point I just like shook my body out, and I was just like, I took a bunch of mushrooms the night before, guys, just trying to get regular.
Gotcha.
Like, no,
cool. No,
if people don't like that, fuck them.
Yeah,
it's
right.
your life.
Right, totally. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be like cautious about even talking about that kind of stuff because it is my life. It's who I am, and it's what contributed to the art. So yeah, I was microdosing some LSD when I made Dream Garden, and it just had that feel of like I don't know. I'm just in my own dreams right now, and
okay,
I'm just creating my own thing, and like that's what every project feels like to me. My own little world. You were talking with, I think, Dan Harmon on here about like just like the lack of magic in adult life and like the excitement or something, and it just like it was inspiring me, and like it just I related to that really hard because that's how music feels to me. It's like this magic thing that just comes out of nowhere. So
that's how I feel about comedy. Like life is so serious, life is so hard. Comedy brings a little bit of magic.
Agreed.
Because if I can make strangers who don't know me, wouldn't care if I died tomorrow, laugh their asses off. That's a beautiful thing because now they're forgetting about their problems.
That is beautiful, man. I love that.
The same with music, man. It's so therapeutic.
Agreed.
People use music for different reasons, but it's definitely one way to just ease your mind here.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about Jeff, like our worlds colliding, kind of like how you asked about that. Like that to me has always been a thing, like music and comedy. Not like too much, but like I've always really loved Bo Burnham and just people that can bridge the gap of music and comedy. I love it, and there's just something.
I guess the perfect example of that, if I could think of one person, probably Weird Al.
Yeah, Weird Al. Yeah, great example. You're right. Yeah, he is the perfect example. So iconic. And yeah, even any type of music, the best music to me, it always makes me like laugh or smile. Like I'll just, when I'm locked in with some really dope musicians and they're just killing it and like everything's perfect and we're just like playing great music, I just start laughing. So it's like very like the same thing. Like I don't know, it's just something about laughing in life. It's just
No, I get
it's
it.
Great.
I was just down at Gasaway, West Virginia. I did a show, and it was one of the more fun shows I've ever done. And the way I described it to like my sister is, if you see me on stage, if I'm really enjoying it, I'm chuckling at myself as I'm telling jokes.
Yeah.
Well, the more I enjoy it, the more I chuckle. I was laughing my ass off the other night. Like it's just when everything clicks, it feels amazing.
Right.
Now, do you do live performances at all?
I do. It's definitely obviously slowed down with the pandemic, but I was grateful and fortunate enough to perform a few times with the pandemic. We got I played a set down at Mr. Small's outside last summer, which that was really cool. I did a set at the government center. It was very like, I think it was only like 3 people and like a lot more of a live stream thing. So, but that was a cool opportunity.
I've done a couple live streams. They're weird.
Different.
They're different.
Yeah.
As long as you have like 5 people in the room, it can keep you going.
Yeah.
I guess. But if you're in a blank room,
it's weird, man.
It's rough,
I
man.
didn't get super into it when like everything hit, so that's why I definitely slowed down with shows. But
I didn't do too much Zoom comedy. Did they have Zoom music mics?
Yeah, there was. I did. I played guitar for my friend Layla, and it was like a Zoom for. I think it's called like Girls Running Shit in Pittsburgh or something like that. It's like a female-led podcast, I believe. I don't know their full organization, but we did a
Sorry, ladies.
show for them. Sorry, ladies, but you guys are awesome. That was a cool show, and yeah, it was a good experience. It was definitely different, like you said, but a lot of people tuned in, which was cool. That's always a plus, like when you actually have people listening.
I've always, and maybe this was mine, but I've always felt so disappointed with every set I've done online that I've never went back and looked at the numbers.
Yeah,
Because I guess, like, I feel my performance is better in person.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like sometimes if I get low numbers from a live stream, it's like they didn't need to see my shame anyways.
Yeah. Looking back on it, like any type of like recording performance is weird for me. Like I'm gonna look back on this because like I do want to hear how it goes, and I'm gonna be promoting it and stuff. But I'll probably be like, "Oh, he sounds so dumb.
No,
you idiot.
No, man.
You look like a fool."
I understand that.
You
From someone who
you
doesn't
do
know
it.
anything about music, you definitely don't sound like a fool. I'll give you that
appreciate
much.
that. Thank you.
Now, the people that are all musically inclined,
Right, they'll be coming from my head.
I can't say. I tell you what, just like I told the last guest, if Ty is saying something you disagree with and you feel strongly enough about it, come on the podcast.
Yeah, let's talk about it for sure. That's great.
Yeah, you know,
All you
like,
can do is just
bring.
talk
Oh, you
about
do
it.
things differently? Okay, let's talk about that. You know?
Yeah, like it's like you said, we all have our own ways of doing things. And
Absolutely. Your studio, you got it soundproofed and everything?
Yeah, we got like the acoustic insulation like in here, and it's not too soundproof, but
That's what I mean, like
yeah.
acoustic insulation.
yeah. So we got the sound kind of worked out in there pretty well.
I started working on my own myself, and when I began, I was going to cover all the walls completely in this foam. And I got the first pack of 50, and I said to myself, wow, this is quite a big undertaking, much more than I want to do or anticipated. So now I'm working on something where I can have like specific squares here and there.
Yeah, space mount.
Just to get it working.
Yeah, I don't think you really do need to cover the whole room is if you do it with more like intention, which I was researching a little bit on like sound treatment and stuff. Like there's so many different methods. It's crazy. Like I said, that goes sort of along with the mixing and mastering world, which is just like insane. Like the audio world is crazy.
The thing is, man, every world has their own little crazy deep dive in.
That's so true.
And that's part of the reason I started this podcast. Because, like, I can't afford to get into everything super deep.
Yeah.
Like, and people go in. And then when you don't know, they have the nerve to get offended or, like, poser.
Yeah.
It's like, how am I supposed to learn?
Right.
But this allows me to bring someone on who's into it, who's an expert, who knows what they're talking about, and I can learn from them.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea for you to, like, get all these worlds. Like you said, you get in a little piece, and that's awesome.
Like, because I don't know, how you feel like you are less experienced, and you are so much more experienced than I am. You know what I mean? Than I even know about.
Right.
So, just a wealth of knowledge. Everybody's a wealth of knowledge. It just depends on what topic.
That's so true. Like, you can really learn from anyone. Like, even if you don't think you're learning, it's like, I learned something from you. Because, like, I was, like, jamming with this dude the other day, and he was such a cool guy. It was my first time meeting him. He was a saxophone player. He's an older gentleman, but he's just had so much experience and was so good and was just talking about music and all his life of traveling and touring. And I was just like, even if I wasn't like learning from his direct words, I was super inspired, and I went and made music afterwards, like.
I always romanticize musicians and like the grind of a musician, like how I romanticize authors that were alcoholics.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah.
But like the grind and the struggle.
Right, the unhealthy,
shitty
not
gigs.
sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always look at it
That's
like,
funny.
yeah, those guys are partiers.
Totally.
But it's not just one genre.
Right.
Literally any type of music I think about, I romanticize them, like jazz players or a hip hop artist
I'm
or a
guilty
country
of
singer.
doing this as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel that.
I know you said you released your debut album, Soul.
Yeah, that's the one.
This
you
is
got.
Soul.
Yep.
In 2019.
Mm-hmm.
How long before you put that out were you actually making music?
Probably like 2 years.
Okay.
1 to 2 years of just doing like demos on SoundCloud and making like 50 to 150 songs, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with something like this, there were hundreds 100 songs before this.
Well, let's call them ideas.
100 ideas.
Yeah, let's be
And then a few made the cut.
yeah.
Okay, now have you released a follow-up project?
Yeah, I got the one we're wearing, Dream Garden.
Okay.
That was early 2020. Like I'm trying. Well, no, it was like in July. So or June actually. So we're coming up on like the year anniversary of that one.
You know, but it's a good time for you to promo yourself. Let the people know where they can find you, where they can get your stuff, where they can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. You can listen to both these projects. I got a couple singles along with these songs on any streaming service, the big ones, Spotify, Apple Music. But Bandcamp.com, you can look me up on there. It's just Danzuso. That is a great way to support local artists. You can, like, we get way more of the money. Any music you buy on there, you can buy my merch on there. It's just basically a website for me that I get to use. So check out Bandcamp, and yeah, those are the main ones.
You on social medias as well?
Yes, Instagram, Danzuso, Twitter, Danzuso, Facebook, Danzuso. So check them out.
Yeah, guys, make sure you follow him. I have a question that I always tend to ask my guests. It's unrelated to anything you've said this far.
No, that's fine.
And no wrong answer. You had any paranormal experiences?
No. I recently talked to my brother about. I had this. We lived in the woods like growing up. Not too in the woods, but like a secluded street where there's 3 houses surrounded by woods. So it's like more than usual. But we had this like real thick forest behind us, and I swear me and my brother saw a blue light. I didn't remember this, but he was talking about it, saying we saw a UFO or something.
Oh, man.
I wasn't that spooked by it because, like I said, I don't even remember it. But my mom has this like book that I like drew pictures in for kids when I was a kid. I don't know. I can't speak right now. When I was a kid, and it has like an image of it, and it says, like, it's me writing real bad at the bottom. It says a blue light I saw in the woods when I was a kid, and I just thought it was weird that the photo existed, that I drew that when I was a kid. Like I said, I don't have any proof this was a real thing. But my brother actually has some like alien stories where he thinks that he's been visited by Greys a few times, which I think is interesting. Yeah, definitely. Like where
They came to him. Did they take him at all? Or?
No, he's never said he's had like an abduction experience, but he's had 2 at his house now. His first one, where he had a feeling where there was just something in the room with him. He was convinced, like, which I like read sometimes. I'm into this stuff, so I read like that's common. That like it's like instinctual that something's in the room. So I was like, he didn't even put this together that it might have been aliens at the time, but I told him all this shit. He just wouldn't look. He wouldn't open the covers, and his dog was just like, who's a very vicious dog, was just like really chill, which is weird. Didn't look. Had the same type thing happen with his girlfriend at the time, and she was convinced something was in the room with them too, and they saw like a little being scurry across the room. I'm not saying any of this is true, but this is what they claim to be happened to them, and I just find that whole world interesting, to be honest.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm sure you do.
We definitely do on here. That's kind of what we live for.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even imagine. I would definitely, assuming I would just be terrified. But like they say, like they can help you or they could change your life for beneficial ways. Like there's so many different experiences.
I've heard
obviously
so many stories about abductions and interactions, but third person.
Yeah,
like third party.
Right.
I'm still searching for a person who's been abducted by a UFO. Reach out.
Yes, definitely.
I want to talk.
I want to hear you talk to Johnny. Please come on his podcast. That'll be great.
Like I love hearing the stories, but I want someone who's actually been up there, so to speak.
Yeah, you want to like see it in their eyes, almost like the truth.
How did it feel?
For sure.
And even if it's not the truth, as long as it's what they believe to be the truth.
Yeah, that's still interesting.
That's good enough for me.
I'm with you. I think that's powerful in itself, kind of like.
You've been following any of this government releasing information about UFOs?
Yeah, definitely.
What's your thoughts?
I think it's long overdue, obviously, but it's cool. It's a start, I guess, of something. Hopefully.
Do you think we as a people are ready?
I don't think.
You know what? I won't even say. Let me clear that up. I won't say we as a people. Do you think the United States people are ready?
I do, because I think like some people, like it's basically already proven in my eyes, and people still don't believe it. You know what I mean? Like that's just me though. I'm not gonna say it's proven factual, but like I don't know. There's a lot of fucking hard evidence out there.
If they're anything like the human race,
Hmm.
we're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's
Yeah.
That's a very true statement. I like that.
We, you know, if they're
Yeah.
looking at us like the way we study chimps, I can understand that.
Hmm.
If they are anything like colonizers or anything like that,
Mhm.
we're all fucked.
You're right.
And
yeah.
essentially, there's nothing we could do about it. We don't have, quote unquote, what I know. We don't
Right.
have the
The
technology to
yeah.
fend off beings. It's just, it's weird, man. It's scary.
It is scary.
But I look forward to it because I want to know
Right.
more.
It's just like that unknown that like we just ignore every day. You know what I mean? And don't sometimes.
And
like,
at this point, I want it
pretend
so
doesn't
much.
exist.
It's like, I don't even care if it's true. Just feed me a story. Big
It's
Daddy
same.
Government, give me a story.
Same. I'd rather just not like wonder my whole life if this is a thing or not, if we're alone in the universe or not. Like I know, I'm convinced personally that we are not alone in the
There's
universe.
to me, there's no possible
There's
way.
just no way.
If there's so many planets, you know,
Yeah.
there's no possible way.
I'm with you.
A couple more things before we get out of here.
Yeah.
You got any upcoming projects? Upcoming show at the Art House? What's going on?
Yeah, we got the All Art Show will be back June 19th this month. We got some, I know we have Abstract Theory, which is like a local hip hop group. They're doing some music. I might have an artist coming. I don't have a name yet, but Jeff also hasn't reached out to the comedians, but he always gets a great bunch. So I think it's going to be a good show. So June 19th, that'll be great. July 17th, I'm playing at the Government Center. The poster hasn't been announced yet, but it'll be the grand opening of their new store and a Record Store Day release. So I'm very excited for that. So come out and check me play there. But that's it show-wise. Working on some new music. It's in the process. I don't like to put dates on stuff because that has messed me up in the past. So I'm not going to be like, expect it then. But definitely expect it.
I have two questions, and they're kind of the same branch.
Cool.
The first is essentially just giving you the floor. Anything you want the people to know about you or your product or anything at all, just have at it, sir.
Okay. Open floor. I guess I'd really just want to talk about the studio once again because I really want people to know that it's like I said, I'll leave the room. It's a very creative environment. The people I've worked with in my studio and the music we've made, I'm excited to release my new music because
Pro mushroom environment.
Pro everything. Yeah, anything. Honestly,
Don't come in his studio smoking crack.
No judgment though. If you really need to, I got you. Or, sorry, to make the magic, I understand. But
that's an artist right there, man.
Hey, like I said, I really don't judge people, and especially when it comes to like a creative environment. I just want it to be as open as possible. And yeah, the studio. I'm trying to think what else is going on. I plugged the.
What neighborhood is it located in?
It's actually above the Mount Troyan, the bar.
Okay.
I live above the Mount Troyan, and I have a nice spare room that I turn into my music studio.
And he's looking to rent that out, guys. You heard him, $25 an hour.
$25 an hour. First 2 hours is on the house because I've been to studios and have had nothing come.
Oh
of it.
shit! I'm about to make a hip hop
Come
album,
through,
y'all.
man, please. I think we all do have music in us. Like,
I'll be honest. I've always wanted to be a rapper.
That's cool.
I'm just not good enough.
Rapping, you can get better at. Like, it takes practice. Like, when I'd practice writing every day and like doing it, like I would actually write some cool stuff.
My
But
rap name is Magic John Smith.
you just got to be honest. Like, there's the people rapping. Like, they're so like they're people I went to school with in the suburbs, and they're like. Their raps are so hard. They're like literally changing their voice for their
Thugged
raps.
out.
They're so thugged out, and like in my experience of being genuine, of just some like nerdy kid, it's gotten me more connections, and people have reached out and been like, "Well, I actually like your sound," because you're not fronting to be something you're not.
I love rap music. I love hip hop.
Same.
One of my favorite artists is Kevin Gates. Ultra aggressive, super aggressive.
I know some of his stuff, but I'm not that familiar.
I will say
So
though,
I'm not gonna-
if you're being disingenuous with what you're doing and you're rapping about shit that you didn't do,
Right.
not only does that turn people off because we can feel it's not authentic, also you're gonna go overboard a little bit because you don't know what the fuck you're saying,
Right.
And you have a tendency to scare people away.
Like
I don't want to work
overcompensate.
with this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
He said he shot his last 3 producers. Why the fuck why am I gonna work with him?
Literally, he's trying to come into the studio. He's talking about killing his engineer. Yeah, that is something I've seen, and I mean that's probably happens with comedy too. People like trying to essentially fake it till they make it. You know what I mean?
Don't
Like,
get me started to this podcast.
sure.
I will burn every bridge in the goddamn city talking about shitty
yeah.
comedians.
But
I know I'm not the fucking best, but I'm out here working. Some people got these crowns they put on their fucking head, like
right.
that, are this section or this section, and it's like, no, you don't work even. You're not
Yeah.
even trying. Get the fuck out of here. But I digress because the more I talk about it, the more I'll
No.
get myself in trouble.
I'm with you though, man. Especially with like back to social media again, like people on there just creating this false reality of like.
It's getting harder and harder for me to keep my mouth shut about the comedy scene.
I don't feel that way necessarily about music, but I know what you mean in the sense of like shut the fuck up and do the work. You almost want to be like to everyone sometimes. You know what I mean? Like if you only knew.
I
Like,
actually
that
recorded
kind of feeling.
one episode of a podcast I was going to try and do a while back. And we recorded one episode, and then we recorded an interview between me and the other host. And one of it was like advice with comedy. And I think my advice was shut the fuck up and just go to Mike. Like, just shut
That's
the
such
fuck
good
up.
advice though,
Like-
when you really look at it.
All right. Well, that's a great segue into the last little bit here before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Anybody trying music, starting music, wanting to get involved in music, what is your advice to them?
I definitely just start doing it as much as possible in any way or shape or form, even if that's just humming your idea into your iPhone, because you could take that to a music studio and have a producer bring that to life in seconds. Like, you can make music. Anybody can make music. The songs you hear on the radio are made by teams of 30 people that are all assigned to a special little part. So don't ever compare yourself to a song you hear on the radio, and just do it, because you could even if you don't change the world in a grand scheme, you make a song, it's going to change the world. Even if it's on this littlest scale, it's going to change the world. I've seen it, and it's an amazing feeling.
Beautiful advice.
Okay.
I was going to add to that. There's no way I can top it. Ty, thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
coming in today. Guys, make sure you check him out social media. His studio is available for rent. Got music out. Check out the All Art Show with Jeff Fieldhouse. He's an amazing dude. Very interesting. Check out the merch. I'm wearing the shirt right here.
Thank you.
Dope ass merch. I don't think I've ever been so bright in my life.
It looks good, man.
Other than that, yeah, it's been a pleasure.
It really has. Thank you. That was fun.
Until next time, guys. Peace and love.
Peace.